learning every day because you have different challenges each and every time. So you need to make sure that you are able to deal with all of these challenges, and that requires that you study. So experience is needed. At work, when I would walk through university, I would look at the dashboards and see what opportunities were out there. If someone needed an enumerator for census, or there was a survey that needed to be done, I would apply for a job. I did little workshops teaching people about the Constitution in Nochivaranga. I was always busy. And I was also, first year, I was one of the top 10 students because I was only focused on my school. Read that textbook for the next 2 nights without sleeping. I would do that. Even meant I had to pass. Since I couldn't find a job, then do whatever job you need to do. I didn't always do law-related jobs. I did a lot of stuff. 380 students that applied, only 8 students got those bursaries. And we all had good marks. But you need to have something that sets you apart. And she has the same A's and B's that the next student has, but she has something more. She has done a few other jobs, and it speaks to her capacity. It speaks to how dynamic she is, and how widespread her mind is. Law firms, I took a phone, called these law firms and said, listen, I need a candidate job. And they would say no, and you would walk from one law firm to the next. Do whatever small job that you can do, then submit your CV. And if you get that job, don't tell yourself, oh, but I have a law degree, how can I become a receptionist or a personal assistant? It's better than sitting at home. That 2,000 or 3,000 that you can save some of it, and you get rejected. I always tell people, it wasn't meant to be. Look at it that way. Don't take it personally. It wasn't meant to be. Apply to the next job and keep it moving. Don't limit yourself. And career fairs, mentors, very important. Those are the skills that you need to develop. You need to look at yourself and see, what areas do I lack in? What do I need to improve? If it's your speaking, if it's your writing, then do those little courses. Remember, there are always people watching. And even that boss that you're working with. If a promotion comes up, do you think you'll get promoted if you say it's not part of my job description? He'll never be that person that says it's not part of my job description. Do what you need to do. Make the copies, get the coffee. When the time is right, the opportunity will come. Why struggle with life when someone can help you with stuff? Use your money wisely. If I just save at least half of that money, I would have been buying a Volvo cash.
Exactly.
But you shouldn't waste your time with unnecessary people. So I used to cut people left, right, and center. If I felt that you were either jealous, or you were not for me, or you were not with me, I'm like, why do I waste my time with you? I am single. Like Wilka, I was looking at Wilka's videos about being single. I'm also one of them. So I wasn't.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Wilka here, aka Showstopper, back with yet another exciting video. So today we're gonna have a conversation, with Memory. She's somebody that I look up to very, very much. So I'm super excited about this video. So yeah, I bet most of you can learn from her. So let's just get straight into it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And thank you so much, you guys. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. Yes, so let's start. Yeah, hi Mims.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So can you tell us about yourself? Like, who are you? Where did you come from? Where did you grow up? And yeah.
Okay, my name is Memory. Karisas is my surname. Tamara Hafambu. I was born and raised in Bantuk.
Where did you finish your grade 12?
Bantuk, Commerce High School.
Commerce High School. And you did well in grade 12, and then you went to go study?
I got a 32, I think, yeah. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was not one of those students. We didn't have a career guidance session. So I just went with the subject that I did the best in, and that was economics. I got a 1 on higher level. So I thought, oh well, this must be a sign. And I went with that. And then my first year in UNAM, in the first semester, it was a lot of theory, because I wasn't always good in numbers. And then in the second semester, I started seeing numbers, like more mathematical sums, and I was like, okay, this is not good. I cannot go on with this course. And then I changed to law, because it was always my second option.
Yeah.
And then since 2009, I started studying law.
Law. Okay, and then you finished at UNAM?
In 2013.
13. Then you finished with a degree?
Yes, my second degree.
Did you further study?
Yes, then I
Your
went
second
to...
degree, so you finished economics?
Yeah, under the old curriculum, we used to have a B.Juris degree. It was 3 years, and then you would do an LLB. But now they've changed, so now you only study for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I did a B.Juris, which was 3 years, and then I did an LLB. And then when I was done with that, I got a bursary from NAMFISA to do a master's at UCT. It was a master's in commercial law.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Any struggles that you faced throughout your whole journey?
Yeah, a lot.
Starting from grade 12, you entering, was it just easy to get finances,
I got I remember a friend of mine told me to apply for a bursary. And actually a scholarship. We applied for a Dutch scholarship, some German scholarship, me and a few friends of mine, and we all got it. And we were going to supplement that with a NASA, I think it was a loan at the time, it became a scholarship after. But then at the same time, Namfisa had a bursary. And then we applied for this bursary, and then me and this other girl got it. So now I had an option to either go with NASA and the Dutch scholarship, or to go with the bursary.
Yeah.
So I went with the bursary because I had an opportunity to come and work. So I had a job offer.
Oh, yeah.
So I went with the bursary, and they paid for my tuition, they gave me pocket money, they paid for the accommodation. So I really didn't have struggles.
Yeah, in regards to that.
Yeah, in regards to financing, that was all well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even throughout your whole masters, everything?
Nope, no struggles.
And finding a job?
The bursary came with the job.
Okay.
So when I was done, then I went to go and work. But while I was studying, I remember while I was still in Windhoek, there was this course that I kept seeing in the newspaper, compliance officer. And I was like, what is this course about? Because I saw it in every newspaper, and I was like, wow, okay, this is a sought after position. If I knew that is what I would have been studying. So when I went to UCT, while I was registering, I saw a what do they call a pamphlet, a compliance course, and I was like, oh, so UCT offers it as well. So after I registered, I went to the faculty officer, and then I asked her, how does this course work? She said, no, it's a short course. And I asked her, will I be able to do it while I'm doing my master? She said, yeah, as long as you can pay for it. So then when I went home, I quickly wrote a letter back to Namfisa and said, listen, I saw this course that I really want to do. I think it would be beneficial. And they said, well, we awarded a bursary towards your master's degree, so unfortunately we can't pay for that. So I decided to use my monthly allowance to study towards that program. And I finished it in the same year.
Same year, yeah.
And I got my master's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but what keeps you going? As in, what keeps you studying so many courses? What do you want to achieve at the end of the day? Being in the profession that I am, you always have to, you need to make sure that you are, I don't want to say upgraded, you need to make sure that you are well informed. Yeah.
And you have to be studying every day because you have different challenges each and every time. So you need to make sure that you are able to deal with all of these challenges, and that requires that you study.
Yeah.
So this year, I know that I'm going to be doing an insurance course because I work in the insurance department.
Yeah.
With law, you study law subjects. You study law of contract, you study customary law. But when you are done, especially as a lawyer, you can get a job at a power company like NemPower, or you can get a job at NAMCO where you deal with fuel, which was an area that was not part of, or it's a subject that you did not do while you're doing your law degree. So sometimes you need to do an extra short course, so just to understand the environment in the industry, and to be able to apply the law to that.
Okay.
So yeah, that is why I will be doing the short course.
And so how did you build yourself up? What position do you hold now?
When I started, I was a trainee legal officer, and that's a funny story because at the time that we got the bursary, we thought that we would be legal officers. That was the position we were going to get. And when we got there, they told us, no, you are a trainee because you are fresh out of university. So we need to train you within the different departments. And only then, once you are suitably qualified, then we can give you a position that you're qualified for. And that would require some experience, which we didn't have at the time.
Yeah.
And then they also wanted us to be admitted. So then, actually before we started working, when we came back from Cape Town, or when I came back from Cape Town, I had to do I had to become admitted first before I came to Namfisa. So I did my hours with JTC, and then I worked at a law firm. And once I was admitted as a legal practitioner, that was in 2015. In 2016, I started working. So I started working as a trainee for 3 years. I rotated between the different divisions of Namfisa. And then in 2019, I got employed as a legal officer.
As a legal officer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is what I'm doing right now. And hopefully, if an opportunity arises, I want to grow within my organization.
Yes. What advice would you give somebody that just wants to jump to a legal officer position? Do you think it's necessary for you to become a trainee?
Not necessarily, because it's not in every circumstance that you will be a trainee. It's usually when you have a bursary.
Yeah.
But experience is important.
Yeah.
That we got to learn. In our third year of being trainees, we actually, because we did fight it. We did say, no, but that isn't what you guys told us. You told us we would be legal officers, and we'd build this whole hope and dream around being a legal officer, and we thought about where we would live and what cars we would drive, and just be told, no, you need to be trainee. And being a trainee means you don't get the salary that you expect, but it was a good salary, I won't lie. But in our third year, we learned so much, and we thought, wow, imagine if we started working as legal officers and we didn't even know what we know right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, experience is needed. And I won't lie, when I was a student, I was one of those students that did everything. Like if I used to work, when I would walk through university, I would look at the dashboards and see what opportunities were out there. If someone needed an enumerator for census, or there was a survey that needed to be done, I would apply for a job like that. But it wasn't so much for me to gain experience. Okay, it was for the experience to make my CV shine, but also about the money.
Yeah.
So, and that is actually how I got my bursary. I was also a student assistant. I was a student counselor as well. And I did little workshops teaching people about the Constitution in Notre Dame. I was always busy.
Yeah.
And I was also, in my first year, I was one of the top 10 students because I was only focused on my school. But then in my second year, then I started doing some small jobs just so that I could make money. So I wasn't always in class.
Yeah.
But I knew how to keep up. So I would, if I needed to read that textbook for the next 2 nights without sleeping, I would do that. If it meant I had to pass.
Yeah.
Since I couldn't now sit in the class the whole day. But I would get notes from my friends, and I would then move on.
Yeah.
So especially now, it's quite difficult now. I've seen a lot of students that have graduated and they can't find a job.
Yeah.
So if you can't find a job, then do whatever job you need to do. I didn't always do law related jobs. I did a lot of stuff. And when I applied for my bursary, there were like 380 students that applied. Only 8 students got those bursaries, and we all had good marks. But you need to have something that sets you apart.
Yeah.
At least some netball skill, or some whatever skill that bring something to the table to show that you are dynamic, to show that you have a little knowledge of everything. I did things like census and elections. I did all of those things. And all of those things, even if it's not in line with what you have studied, it builds your capacity. It teaches you something about numbers, about how to deal with people, data collection, and it really helps when you start working.
Yeah.
Because you have that little knowledge from all of these things. And that is how they saw, okay, she has the same A's and B's that the next student has, but she has something more. She has done a few other jobs, and it speaks to her capacity. It speaks to how dynamic she is, and how widespread her mind is.
Yeah. What advice would you give a law student with a degree that is struggling to get a job?
Right.
I know you just said something now, but just like directly to them. Like, what are they supposed to be doing now while they're sitting at home? This person has a law degree.
I would say, it's better to start with your JTC, right? Do your JTC. Try and get a law firm where you can do your hours. It's always better to do your studying while doing your hours so that you can finish in the same year. I remember, I'll tell you my experience, when I started looking for a law firm, it was difficult. A lot of people had connections. They had uncles that they could call, friends whose fathers would just sort them out and get them a candidate job. But I had to call law firms. I took a phone, called these law firms and said, listen, I need a candidate job. And they would say no, and you would walk from one law firm to the next, and then an idea came to me. I was like, there's a place where all lawyers meet. It's like call it the law society, right? And each lawyer or each law firm has a pigeonhole. So I was like, why not? Why do I need to call and walk to law firms? I can just make copies of my CVs and drop them in those pigeonholes. And then one law firm called me back, and that's the law firm where I did my hours. So do that, and do whatever small job that you can do. There's a WhatsApp group called the Namibian Opportunities. They post random jobs. Like every day you have a new post about a job. And I know there are a lot of people that are unemployed, but pray on it and submit your CV. And if you get that job, don't tell yourself, oh, but I have a law degree, how can I become a receptionist or a personal assistant? It's better than sitting at home. That 2,000 or 3,000 that you can save some of it and when you eventually start working, you can use it to get your own place or to buy a small car or whatever. But it's better to do a job than to sit at home.
Yeah.
So definitely do your JTC, do a small odd job, apply to all of these positions, but also groom yourself, read books about, or just become a confident person, teach yourself stuff about life as well. And know yourself and just know what you want as well and where you want to be in the future. So you might not start where you want to, but at least have a destination and capacitate yourself. The more you read, the smarter you become, the more articulated you become, and the more attractive you become to the employers. And also, if you get rejected, I always tell people it wasn't meant to be. Look at it that way. Don't take it personally. It wasn't meant to be. Apply to the next job and keep it moving. And you won't always have connections. You won't always know people, but we have a very good God. I will say, with me, I used to ask, especially with the bursaries and the scholarships that I got. I know times were a bit different in 2014. Now we have COVID and we have a lot of people that are unemployed and a lot of people that are not hiring. But back then, we had more opportunities. But I would say I had the favor of the Lord.
Yeah.
When I look back at my life, I didn't have I feel like I stumbled into things a lot. Like when I remember this, my plan was to, and that's all that I knew, right, was to become admitted, be a lawyer, and that is it. And then this one friend of mine told me, let's apply to UCT and let's go and do our masters. And I was like, for the longest time I was like, no man, that's not for me. I already have a plan. This is what I want to do. And she said, no, just apply and we'll see. And I got in, and I'm so happy that I did that. Because now when I was in Cape Town, I was like, wow, imagine being in Cape Town 2014, who would have thought, me of all people?
Yeah.
And it was just a wonderful experience. And don't limit yourself. And career fairs, mentors, very important. Go out there and look at what are the things that you can do. What is out there? As a lawyer, there's so many professions that you can do. Look at all of them and see what does your personality fit with. You don't need to be a lawyer that stands in court. Not everyone is well spoken. I was one of those students. I was very shy. I couldn't talk to save my life. So and I thought, well, I don't have a choice. I just have to man up and go and stand in court and talk. Until I found out, well, you can be a company secretary, you can be a legal advisor at a company. That doesn't require you to stand in court and speak, but you have to speak up.
Yeah.
So those are the skills that you need to develop. You need to look at yourself and see what areas do I lack in. What do I need to improve? If it's your speaking, if it's your writing, then do those little courses. And just one more thing, it's not always fair, especially in the corporate life. There are a lot of things that happen, but you need to be strong and you need to always pray to God. Let Him guide you. I was listening to Joyce Meyer the other day, and she was like, a lot of times we do stuff, and then while we are in the stuff, we pray for God to help, to make it work. That's not how it works. You need to pray before so that He can guide you. So if you pray before you get into something, He can tell you, no, don't get into it, or rather do this. But if you're already in the thing, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah.
But God is always faithful. Either way, He makes it work out together for your good.
Oh, amen. And then the last question is, for students who have jobs, who have just gotten jobs, they just came from the market, but their dream is just like, me, I want to be a manager. So they're not willing. Anytime where they feel like, there's people asking me to make copies, what about me, I'm resigning. We're so, many young people are so quick to just resign. What advice would you give a person like that?
There's this one thing that people say, it's not part of my job description.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. You know what? Sometimes I remember this. Before I get to that, let me tell you of an example that happened in my workplace. So we have a PA, and her boss would ask her to pick up laundry, or to pick up passports for their kids, and all of this stuff. And she was like, but this is not part of my job description. I'm a PA. I'm supposed to be sitting in the office and answering calls and whatnot. So now I need to go to this number dry cleaners and go pick up someone's laundry. Like, what is this? But then I just thought, it's two things. Yes, it's not part of your job description. And yes, you can go to HR and make a whole scene. But remember, there are always people watching. And even that boss that you're working with. If a promotion comes up, do you think you'll get promoted if you say it's not part of my job description? He knows that you have work that you need to do, but he's sending you to go and do that. So if you come back and he tells you, listen, this file needs to be ready by 5, you say, oh, but sir, I just came from the laundry, the line was long, I came at 4, so there's no way that this can be ready tomorrow because I need to go home at 5. So you work around it, but never be that person that says it's not part of my job description. Do what you need to do. Make the copies, get the coffee. When the time is right, the opportunity will come.
Yeah, I think that as well. And I think most people just resign when just like, I'm done. As if jobs are just easy to get in.
In this day and age, when so many people are sitting at home, you won't find a job. So you need to, and it's not easy really, but so many things happen in the workplace. Sometimes even at home, sometimes you have a family that's relying on you, and you have stress at home, you have stress at work. What is that scripture that says you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you? And the Bible also says that you never get anything that's beyond yourself or that you cannot handle. So take it one step at a day. And I've also told myself, like, don't think about the future. Don't think about the past. Forget the past. Forget the mistakes. Look to the future and take it one day at a time. We have grace for each and every day. Yeah. If you are multitasking and you're thinking about tomorrow while trying to learn from yesterday, then you will not make it very far. Yeah. So each and every day, and of course, use your past to learn, but don't be captive or don't
dwell there. Don't be there. Don't go. You can go back to learn from what you didn't do.
Exactly. Yeah. But then when you move forward, then move forward with the knowledge of the past and the vision that you have for the future. Yeah. And know what you want. And sometimes you don't really know. Like I said, I did economics and then I changed to law. Sometimes you don't really know what you need to do. But keep it moving. Do all the odd jobs. Eventually you'll find out what you want to do. And sometimes you only know what you want to do once you do so many things. Or sometimes your journey is different. You know what you want, you get into it, and then you change your mind. You're like, you know what, I used to study law, but I actually want to do IT now. Then go and do IT. But don't be, let me tell you about the show, I think it was The Apprentice. Yes. This guy I think he was an engineer. He was an engineer degree, accounting degree, law degree, and I think he had 5 degrees. And they said, but you are so confused. You don't know what you want. How can you have 5 degrees? I mean, when are you going to gain experience in any one of those fields?
Yes, exactly.
So some fields go together, law and accounting, yes, psychology, the 3 can work together. But beyond that, I mean, why would you want to be an engineer as well? And don't be a jack of all trades. And also be hardworking. On Friday, my colleagues were debating about working hard versus working smart. And this other colleague was like, no, but you need to combine both. Well, like, why do you need to combine both? Just work smart. It's not just about working hard. You can work hard all you want, but this guy that's working smart will finish his project and he will get the award. Yeah. So, yeah. And don't struggle with stuff. If you know someone that knows something, like if you are struggling with a subject, don't sit there and try and figure out what those sums mean. Get someone that knows how to do accounting and let them help you. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you are dumb or whatever. Just, why struggle with life when someone can help you with stuff? Yeah. Yeah.
So this is all the advice that you learned from all the years.
Yes, and use your money wisely. Oh goodness, very important. Sometimes I think, I started working in my 2nd year. If I had just saved at least half of that money, I would have been buying a Volvo cash.
Exactly.
But I don't dwell on that. But and the thing is, some of these things you can just encourage other people about and say, don't make the same mistake. But really save is important. Save your money and one day give some deposit to your car or your house. And also choose, let me talk about friends, yeah? That's also important. Choose your friends. They always tell you, choose your friends wisely. Let me tell you, when I was in this is my personality, I just used to feel you shouldn't waste your time with unnecessary people. So I used to cut people left, right, and center. If I felt that you were either jealous or you were not for me or you were not with me, I was like, why do I waste my time with you? Then I would let you go. So in your life, if you know that there are people that you need to cut, people that are not for you, then don't stick around with those people. And don't be like me in the past. I would write people long letters. Yeah, I've just noticed this and I've seen how you backstabbed me then. No, walk away silently. Yeah. Walk away silently, let them be. And in every season, you will get to know new people and ask God, pray to God to bring the right people into your life and to remove the right people. There was this one girl that was in my life that I just didn't know how to get out of my life. And I used to think, and we used to work together. I'm like, Lord, this girl needs to go. Can you just do something? And she got a job and she left, and I was like, thank God, because she was suffocating me. I couldn't breathe. It's just people that want to compete. She always wants to know what's happening in your life. She's always asking you questions. Oh, where are you going, Wilka? What are you doing tomorrow? Just so that she can see how she's competing with you. And God made a way, and she left. And since then, I've always told myself, like, if someone doesn't serve your purpose or your path or where you need to go, then let them go. It's not to say that you don't like them. You love them and you wish them well. Yes. And don't let them come back. That's the biggest mistake ever. And there's someone that always says, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. If someone backstabs you, now you want to forgive them and then they backstab you again and again. No. They do it once, they must go. And even if it means that you don't have friends, then you and the Lord can ride together, just the two of you, until the right people come.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yes, that's what I can think of. I don't know what else to.
Thank you. You can add whatever you want to add. So we can close.
Boyfriends. Yes. Okay, so I am single. Like Wilka, I was looking at Wilka's videos about being single. I'm also one of them. So I think we are different as people, you know. Some people growing up, like I became saved when I was very young, so I was always in church. So it was church and school and church and school, and that now the church is still there. Yes, school is gone, but now we're working on ourselves, you know, and we are ready to be found. But when I was young, man, I had these three friends of mine. The one girl was very aware of her prettiness, so it was all about her being pretty and looking good and which guy is looking at her, and she eventually got a boyfriend. The two of us, no, we were four actually, yes. The other one was now the party girl. She liked partying and whatnot. Me and this other, let me not call names, me and my other friend, we were now the more reserved and quieter ones, and we were more of the church girls, you know. So it was church and school, no time for anything else. For the other girls, it was now friends, it was no church for them, partying, and I guess school. But when you look at those three things, it's difficult to focus on your school. And long story short, today, the one girl, okay, she actually she did get a child eventually, but they never really, let me just focus on the school. They never finished their school. The other two, the quieter ones, the church girls, we finished our school because we knew while we were there. So when we are born again, we believe that you should date to get married. So if I'm a first year student, why would I be dating someone for 4 years and then until you start working? It's just a whole long story. Focus on your school. Maybe in your 4th year, yes, you can start dating because you're almost done with school. But don't be one of these people that are just so focused on your boyfriend and now you have to juggle boyfriends and church and school and work. It's too stressful. Not to say you should leave your boyfriend, but be clear about what you need to do, because distractions, a boyfriend can be a distraction. And sometimes you think, oh, I can do all things, but so at the end of the day, it depends on what's important to you. Like I said, my friends were focused on partying. The two, they didn't finish school to this day, and it's so difficult to go back.
Another question that I have for you is, did you do any, you advised young people to get into different courses, improving themselves and all that. Did you do one of those courses that you...
Yes, I did a public speaking course with an organization called Manpower Development Center. Erika Katawa, she's very good. It's a group of, I think we were 4 in my class, and she had to make some special arrangements for us because we couldn't attend during the week, so we attended during the weekend. And she would just teach you, like the first thing she would do is she would tell you, introduce yourself, tell me about yourself. And then she would look at the way you speak, and then she would say, okay, these are the few things that I'm noticing. Your hands move around too much, or you speak a little too fast. And she would just tell you what you need to improve on. And on the last day, and she would teach you different areas about public speaking. And on the last day, there was I wouldn't say a competition, but you had to speak in front of a group of people, and then they would assess you. So that is one of the things that I did. I also did Toastmasters, but that I did before I did this Manpower Development Center's course. Toastmasters didn't quite work for me. It was just, the times were not too good. But I did public speaking. Like I said, I did that compliance course. What else did I do? I think,
And how else are you giving back to the community? Do you believe that, once you come to a point where you almost made it in life, that you need to start giving back to people?
I lectured at UNAM and NAST. That was one of my ways of giving back. I also did tutoring at home. So I would go to people's homes and tutor kids. When I was doing my justice training, there was a subject that I did exceptionally well, legal drafting. So I gave legal drafting classes because it's one of the subjects that people fail a lot. I remember a very close friend of mine failed the subject, and I was like, okay, let me teach you, you know. And I gave her some classes, and she ended up writing. She was the best person in that exam. And then I thought, opportunity. So I started giving classes. Of course, I would make money on the side. Nothing is for free. But yeah, so I would give those classes to people, and a lot of people, of the people that I helped, did pass, you know, and they were really thankful. So those are one of the things that I did. I also mentored a few people. Not that I was a professional mentor, but it was just to teach them what I'd learned in life, and just to encourage them to say, you know, with my background, I don't come from a family that is well off. I don't come from a connected family. But one thing that I knew was that my education would take me far, and that is really what I focused on.
Wow.
And I tell people, and even if you come from a connected family, or even if you know people that know people, sometimes you also want to do something for yourself, and you want to know that this that I'm doing here, I achieved on my own. So, and that set apart, even school, not even school. School is important for you too. It helps you grow in life, in your career. It teaches you something at least about a specific subject, be it accounting or law. You're able to stand on your own 2 feet, and you don't always need to rely on people. And it can take you as far as you want to go. It really just depends on how invested you are in that. One particular girl, I can tell you her story. She's at church as well. And at the time that I met her, I asked her, so what was your... She had a child. And I think she had given up on life. And a lot has to do with her family as well. I think her family wanted her to study towards a specific course of a specific subject or a specific career. And that's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to become a lawyer. And her father told her, look, if you don't study what I want you to study, then I'm not going to fund you. And then she just gave up because she obviously didn't have the needs. And so at the time that I met her, she had already given up. And I asked her, so what is it that you want to do? She's like, no, she's always wanted to become a lawyer. And I'm like, now what's stopping you? She's like, oh, my father wouldn't fund me. I'm like, but why do you... That's not the only way that you can succeed. You can do a mature age entry exam. And obviously I found out about her background, like how much she had in grade 12, whether rewriting her grade 12 was an option. But she was almost 25, and I said, well, you're 25 next year, so do a mature age entry exam. The first year she did it, she didn't really prepare well, and I told her, well, if first you don't succeed, try again. So this year, she did her mature age entry exam with NAST, and I think she got 70 and 80 in those subjects that she did, and she's waiting for her UNAM results. And I told her, and NASA funding is there, so once you get it, you get the funding from there and you can study. So nothing limits you in life. Your background doesn't limit you, what people say about you doesn't limit you, and people will, you know, and that's why I said in the beginning, you need to know who you are, because people will tell you, you are dumb, you won't make it, and they will say all kinds of mean stuff to you, and it's really painful and it's hurtful, but you need to know who you are and whose you are, and let that keep you going. Don't let your past keep you behind or keep you captive. Know what you want to do, and I say, as long as you have the Lord by your side, as long as He goes before you, as long as He's in you and He's beside you, you can do anything. And no career is ever difficult to attain.
Yeah.
You know, you can do anything. Even the math, like a math was, it wasn't always my thing. But if I need to go and write the math exam, I get myself someone that's good in math and they tutor me and I can get that A. It's just about how determined you are also.
Yeah. So yeah, we're done with the video. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Anyways, I have an announcement to make in a few weeks' time. So yeah, just keep yourself watching because I'm also going to do a giveaway for 500 subscribers. I'll also announce what it is. But I know most of you want money, so we'll discuss. So keep sharing, keep subscribing, keep letting me know what topics you guys want me to focus on. And please, if you want to rewatch these videos, there's so many things I can learn from it. I'm going to get a notebook, a pen, and all that, and come back and watch it and take notes and all that. Anyways, if you have questions, put the questions in the description box below. In the comment section below, and I'll get back to you. So thank you. Bye.
Bye.